guys, it's Chris here, back in the building, and today I'm doing the Week 2 UEFA Champions League predictions. So before I start this week's predictions on what should have been Ronaldo versus Messi in this week's fixtures, I'm going to go through who's leading the groups. So up on the screen right now, you've got Bayern Munich leading Group A after they steamrolled Atletico Madrid 4-0. Obviously, Lokomotiv Moscow and RB Salzburg drew last week, so they're second and third respectively. Whilst in Group B, which you can see right now, Shaktar Donetsk, out of all teams, are leading the way after they defeated Real Madrid 3-2 in their first game. Meanwhile, moving on to Group C, where we have Man City, who are comfortably in control of the group, even though it's only been one game week, after their 3-1 win against Porto last week. Meanwhile, in Group D, it's a little bit of a more tighter affair, although Atalanta narrowly have the lead over Liverpool on goal difference. As we move to Group E, as we can see, all four teams only have 1 point following 2 draws in the Group E games. However, Krasnodar and Rennes only occupy the top 2 spots based on the fact that they managed to conjure up a 1-1 draw. As for Group F, Lazio are leading the way, especially after their shock win against Borussia Dortmund last week. Group G, on the other hand, see Barcelona top the group against Juventus after their 5-1 win against Fevencvaros. Juventus, who won 2-0 last week, sit second. Meanwhile, in Group H, otherwise known as this year's Group of Death, RB Leipzig sit atop on goal difference with 2 goals on goal difference, whereas Man United sit second with 1 on their goal difference. Anyways, without further ado, let's get started on this week's predictions. The fixtures are on screen, as well as my 2-minute timer, which is going to start right now. And away we go. So the early kickoffs on Tuesday night, Lokomotiv Moscow versus Bayern Munich. I'm expecting big things of Bayern and for them to win 3-0. Shaktar Donetsk versus Inter Milan. Likewise with Inter Milan, I'm expecting them to win, and I'm predicting them to win 2-1. Atletico Madrid versus RB Salzburg. Atletico Madrid need to bounce back very quickly, and I'm expecting them to win 1-0 against RB Salzburg. Borussia Mönchengladbach versus Real Madrid. Real Madrid bizarrely losing 3-2 against Shaktar Donetsk, but I think they'll win 2-1. Porto versus Olympiakos. I think it should be a very tight game, but I think the 2004 champions Porto will prevail 1-0. Marseille versus Man City. The game of Tuesday night, weirdly, but I don't think Marseille will have any match for Man City despite their 1-1 draw over the weekend against West Ham, and I think Man City will win 3-1. Atalanta versus Ajax. Ajax, despite their 13-0 win over the weekend, I think they'll draw 1-0 against Atalanta. Liverpool versus Midtjylland. Liverpool struggled to win against Sheffield United despite winning 2-1, but I think they'll beat Midtjylland 2-0. Now time for Wednesday's games. Krasnodar versus Chelsea. Chelsea making the trip all the way to Russia, but they'll come back with a win, and they'll win 2-0. Istanbul Basaksehir versus PSG. PSG, despite losing 2-1 to Man United, I think they'll bounce back and win big and win 3-0. Sevilla versus Rennes, I think that's going to be a very tight game, but both sides will draw 1-0. Club Brugge versus Lazio. Lazio impressively beating Borussia Dortmund, and I'm expecting them to do the same and win 3-1. Borussia Dortmund, they're going to bounce back against Zenit in Petersburg, and they're going to beat them 1-0 in Germany. Fevencvaros versus Dynamo Kiev. I think it's going to be another low-scoring affair, but I think Dynamo Kiev will win 1-0. Juventus versus Barcelona. It would have been Ronaldo versus Messi, but Ronaldo's been tested positive for coronavirus, so I still think Juventus are going to do it, and that is the timer done. But ignore the timer because I'm going to carry on anyways, because Juventus, even though they have no Ronaldo, Barcelona are coming off possibly one of their worst games in a long while, losing 3-1 in El Clasico against their arch-rivals Real Madrid. But I still think Juventus will beat Barcelona and win 2-1, and that is my game of Wednesday night. And last but not least, Man United, my boys, against RB Leipzig. But I'm going to admit, RB Leipzig are going to pose one hell of a tough challenge, but I think Man United will prevail and will win 1-0. And on that note, that is the end of my Champions League Week 2 predictions. Guys, as usual, my predictions are on screen right now. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until next week, guys, peace out.